What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the thing that actually blew up my channel in the first place, which is female nature. Okay, nobody loves a good old conversation about female nature as much as me. And let me tell you guys, okay, after my female shit test video, that video blew up, by the way. It got to like 400k. It had a second round of blowing up. The YouTube algorithm just decided to blow it up one more time. It gave it one extra push, and the amount of cope and blue pill simps that pulled up to the comment section, like, you guys can go click on this video after this video, don't do it now. You can filter by newest and look at the level of copium.
What in the toxic and insecure is this? Women don't shit test.
Like, how delusional do you have to be to actually think that this stuff doesn't go on? There's a reason the video has 500k views. There's a reason so many people clicked and watched it. So I decided to burst everyone's fantasy bubble one more time and make a video about the most brutal things, the truths that you have to accept about female nature. I know this is gonna, anger a lot of people, because really I understand why this type of content and why I in particular get a lot of hate. This is some very emotionally charged content. This is something that a lot of people just cannot get behind. They cannot for the life of them accept. Really, there's two main categories of people. There's people who do not accept this and say, nope, put the Disney Channel back on, put the Disney Channel back on. And there's people who acknowledge this to be true, but really they live in this bitterness and resentment inside, which is fine. Everybody go, I'd rather you be bitter and know the truth than be like these delusional blue pillars. Like, these guys will watch the female shit test video and be like, this guy's over analyzing and overthinking women, he must be schizophrenic. Dude, listen, okay, I don't obsess about women all day like some of you guys think I do. In the same way that somebody who studies fucking lion mating strategies isn't obsessed with lions, he's just interested in their mating behavior. I'm more interested in female nature and women's mating strategies than women themselves. And I just realized how gay that actually sounded, but point is, it's just something I have a curious mind about in this field. I don't particularly know why, but I like to think I'm in it for the science rather than for some like emotional trauma that these who hurt you people accuse me of. The types of people who'd comment who hurt you and what in the toxic and insecure. Like, bro, no offense, but screw you guys. I would never be friends with you. My viewers would never be friends with you. Most of these people's entire existence is going to be reduced to,
yes, babe. Yeah, let me get that for you, babe. Happy wife, happy life.
Probably dating a woman who doesn't even desire you like that, let's be real. Because you're either the person that's aware and just sees this stuff for what it is, or you're somebody who is purposely putting a veil in front of your eyes. Like, I can make these videos, I can keep trying to tell you guys the truth, I can keep trying to, and really, thank you to the people in the comments who say, yo, this guy's spitting facts, I have similar experiences. Maybe we're just all living in a bubble of collective shared experiences here. Maybe some people actually have different experiences, but what I perceive to be the truth, I'm entitled to fucking get online and say that, just like anybody else. And even though I get a lot of hate for this content, I will continue to speak exactly what I believe to be the truth, and it can't be that far off the truth if it's resonating with that many people. Shit tests happen. Female nature is a thing. If you're too fragile to accept it, click off this video. Anyways, my bad for this rant, bro. I had to get that off my chest, but we have some things here as always. We're going to be ranking it from easy AF to accept, which means this is a female nature truth. All of these are true, by the way, but we're ranking them in terms of how hard it is for men to get behind and accept, because everybody has their inner simp. Everybody has their predisposition to not want to accept female behavior as true. Everybody wants to say, no, this can't be true, right? Surely there's the exception. How many times you guys seen comments, but not all women? Yeah, so see, most people have trouble accepting this shit, but I'm gonna try my best to explain this. Let's calm down a little bit. Anyways, we're ranking it all the way up to you must accept this or you're cooked. It's a truth nuke. If you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe, and let's get into the video. So the first thing we have here is women perceive the appearance of a thing for reality. I absolutely love this quote. I'm actually going to put it right at the top. Arthur Schopenhauer, one of the best philosophers, said this. He said that women perceive the appearance of a thing for reality, which is to say that women do not see behind a veil or behind deception. They just see what you present in front of them, which is a really good thing for you, because if you believe that you are him and you are confident that you are him, even if you're objectively not, they will still believe you are him, simply because you believe yourself to be and simply because you portray yourself to be. This is why it's the guys who walk around not giving a fuck, walking around like they own the room, who always get the most women, okay? Men, you can't really fool them that easily, bro. Like, if you're broke and you're not fit, people are instantly going to look at you and say, this guy's broke, he's unfit, I don't care, how does he even have this much confidence? Women don't think that way. That's why it's literally so easy. The world is your oyster with women, as long as you present yourself as exactly who you are. And really, this just comes down to, who do you believe yourself to be? It's the guys with the most self-belief who actually pull. And I know black pillars are having a fucking aneurysm right now.
What do you mean self-belief? Isn't it looks?
Fuck you, bro. Shut the fuck up. You've said that for 1,000 times. Are you not tired of saying that? The entire picture clearly cannot be just looks, because we've seen good looking guys get on FitX Fearless calls, and no, some of them are actually not trolling, okay? Some of them are actually looking for genuine advice, and they're good looking, they have nothing wrong with them. The only thing is they have no self-belief, they have no confidence, and they're not able to look at themselves and say, yeah, of course I'm fucking attractive to women. Like, they have no ego about them. These guys are pussies, no offense. If you're good looking and you're tall and you don't get girls, it's just because of a self-belief thing. It has nothing to do with your external. You can keep boosting your external, you can keep saying, as long as I increase my looks, money, and status, I'll get women. But really, like I said, they perceive the appearance of a thing for reality. The guy who fakes it and acts as if he is will always do better than the guy who kind of is humble and is withdrawn and retreats into himself out of fear. If you want to convince a woman that you're confident, just act like somebody who's confident. If you want to convince a woman that you're rich, wear something someone rich would wear. It's that easy. Whatever you portray is what they believe. Really important to accept this, guys. Unlike men, women just take things at face value, so use that to your advantage. You must accept this or you're absolutely cooked. Next up, we have their emotions dictate their lives. This is a bitter pill to swallow. I'm gonna say true, because men kind of have this underlying expectation of women to be logical. It's like we look at a woman and we want her to think the same way we do. Well, I have respect, and I expect somebody to buy me a coffee if I bought them a coffee, because the law of reciprocation. It doesn't work like that with women. You guys have to understand, their emotions dictate everything. They will only think logically when it comes to trivial matters. The big decisions in their lives, especially involving their dating life, of the mate that they're going to select and the person that they're going to end up being with for the rest of their life, is all 100% emotional, 0% logical. And this is why a lot of guys kind of get confused. You ever go outside and you see a chick with a guy who you're like, something doesn't make sense here. Like, the guy doesn't seem like he's in her league. He's not on her level. Yeah, he was just able to engage her emotions better than you. Of course, there are the cases where the guy's a simp, and he's like a sugar daddy, or he's giving her a ton of money, or she's benefiting in some way by being with him. But unlike what the black pillars think, this isn't always the case. Sometimes a woman is with a guy because he just does it for her. Because remember, he was just able to make her perceive him in a way that he may not objectively be. Again, if you're the type of person who thinks through an objective lens, you're never going to understand women. You're always going to be puzzled and confused by what they do. Like, what the fuck? What is she even doing? You have to switch your mindset only when you're understanding women. Don't do this when you go to your fucking math class, right? When you're trying to understand women, open up to a subjective lens. She's with him because she feels like he's offering something. She feels like he provides value, even though all these loser black pillars are going to look at him and be like, what? He's not 6'4" though. He's not Chad though. So you guys have to understand, their emotions dictate their lives. And the only reason a woman would ever be with a guy is because he was able to engage her emotional experience more than all the other guys. It's literally that simple. He was able to make her feel stuff across a whole range of emotions, the whole emotional spectrum, not just good. Notice how I didn't say he only makes her feel good. He makes her feel bad. He makes her feel good. He makes her feel neutral. He makes her feel like, it's all of it. It's the ups and the downs. So keep that in mind and let's move on. Next up, most things they do are subconscious. This is also a bitter pill for a lot of men, and let me explain why. In my shit test video, I made the assertion that women shit test subconsciously. They're not actually thinking, how am I going to shit test this guy? It just happens. And a lot of men can't accept this because, again, they're like, well, if I think consciously and make logical decisions and I have intentionality behind my decisions, why don't women? It's like, bro, you can't really hold them to the same standard you hold yourself to. And look, I'm not saying they're incapable of higher levels of thinking or anything. Of course they are. But usually when it comes to attraction, if you're a perceptive person, you will notice, damn, she just did something and she doesn't even know why she did it. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's like they'll do something and they don't process why. It's just like it's happening. And then if you try to bring it to their attention and say, okay, you shit tested me because female nature, blah, 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 she's gonna be like, what the fuck? Is this guy crazy? That's why women think I'm crazy. They literally think I'm crazy because they're like, I don't do any of these things. Yes, you do. You're just not aware of it. And if you don't think she's shit testing you, you are not aware of it. It's not that it's not happening. That's why I always laugh when I see comments of guys like, well, I've been with my woman for 5 years and, you know, she hasn't done anything subconscious or she hasn't shit tested me. There's a few reasons for that. Number one is you're too blind to actually see what she's doing. Like, you don't actually see it. Number two, she's not that attractive, because the less attractive a woman is, the less likely she is to shit test you a lot. Women with a lot of options, and especially if they're higher in femininity, they tend to shit test men a lot. That's why, if you guys remember, for my dating misconceptions tier list, I made an attraction femininity spectrum. I said the higher she is in attractiveness and the higher she is in femininity, the more likely you are to experience the games and the shit tests and stuff. When a guy tells me I don't get games from women and I'm with her and she's not playing any games on me and she's not testing me, yeah, you're probably just with a mid or a very masculine chick. So it's not even a flex to say that. Next up, we have they want to feel young and free. So this is why it's so important to be in a state of play with a woman, right? You want to always make them feel like they're young, that they're having fun, and they're playful. The biggest thing you can do to bore a woman and turn her off is get all serious and remind her of the realities of day-to-day life. I've talked about this before in previous videos, but you don't want to make her feel like she's in reality. You want to make her feel like she felt when she was 12 or 11, right? Giggling, laughing, having fun. Life isn't so serious. Everything's fun, right? And this is really just something that you do naturally with women when you yourself are having fun. It's that easy. Just be a fun guy and be a little bit detached about life. This one isn't too hard to accept. I feel like a lot of men can get behind this. It doesn't trigger as many people as these two, and especially this one. So let's move on. Next up, we have they always crave validation. Yeah. You must accept this or you're cooked, guys. You must accept this or you're freaking cooked. You guys have to understand, people will teach you different things about game, right? Game is so subjective. This dating coach will say this dating coach will say that. Like, there's not much agreement in the dating space on how you should actually act in front of women. But one thing I will say, a common pattern I've noticed between all the advice on the internet, like all of it, I'm not talking about a subset, I'm saying all of it, is that all of it comes down to them chasing your validation, attention, and approval. Some people will tell you be nonchalant, others will tell you to be the fun guy. But what do all these archetypes of men who are attractive to women have in common? All of them make her chase their validation. She wants to make the guy who's indifferent to her not indifferent to her. She wants to make the guy who's carefree and fun turn serious for her. That's why the approach you take doesn't even matter that much. It's all about making her chase something from you. And the quicker you reveal your validation and the quicker you sort of give her what she wants from you, the faster she's going to move on and look at it from another guy. You almost have to keep her in a state where she's perpetually chasing it. Now, to some of you, this might sound absolutely impossible. How do I keep her perpetually chasing it? If I want to be in a long-term relationship, at some point I'm going to have to give it. Yes, but this is why you mix it in here and there. You give validation, now she feels validated. She's going to come back wanting more. You don't give it for a little bit. You don't want to give it too consistently, too predictably, and too frequently. You want to make your validation scarce, so she's always looking for it and anticipating it. I know people are going to say manipulative this, manipulative that, insecure this, long-term healthy relationship that. Dude, I've heard it all, bro. I'm not going to try to change your mind. If you don't agree with me, it is what it is. Next up, we have they always crave attention. So this one hurts, man. This one's going to hurt a lot of people, even though they know it's true, because the only reason women have guy friends when they're in relationships is because they crave attention, right? One option isn't enough. They want attention from multiple different sources. But I don't say that to be, degrading or anything, but the truth is, your attention matters way more than you as a person. I know that fucking hurts, huh? It hurts me. It hurts me to even say it. You matter nowhere near as much as your attention, right? It's not about you, it's about your attention. And let me explain what I mean by this. You guys ever dated a girl, right? You guys ever just dated or talked to a girl long term and you're like, she likes me. It's obvious she likes me. And it's obvious she wants to be with me. But she doesn't really know anything about me as a person. Like, she doesn't know my favorite color, she doesn't know what food I eat, she doesn't know my family members, she doesn't really take much of an interest in my life, but I can 100% assure you she's still attracted to me. The reason is because young women, and again, most of my content is talking about young women, guys. I'm talking about chicks between 18 to 25, because let's be real, the rules kind of change when they get older. Maybe I'll figure out that's not true as I age, who knows, but I can only speak on the women that I've experienced. They only care about the attention you provide and not you as a person, right? It's the source of attention. Even when you're their boyfriend, it's really just, he's my boyfriend because he takes care of me and he loves me and this and he does this for me and that for me. It's always about the eyes being positioned on her and not the other way around. They always crave validation and they always crave attention. This is just a truth. I know there's going to be people in the comments saying, actually, no, blah, blah, blah. It's just that, like, I don't know how you can disagree with, like, a mathematical law. This is almost a mathematical law. This is a principle of reality. Next up, they are hypergamous. Top of the fucking list. This is going right at the top. And, you know, even though this is a brutal thing to accept, I feel like a lot of guys are starting to slowly accept this. But people don't understand what we mean when we say hypergamy. Everyone's going to interpret it differently. Some people are going to say, well, hypergamy is her looking for the best possible option that she can have objectively, right? This is where we fall into the male gaze instead of the female gaze. So when we think hypergamy, we think best muscles, tallest, best looking, highest status, right? We think of the objective metrics that we as men hold ourselves to. The problem is the female gaze is completely different. What satisfies their hypergamy is actually an emotional state. You guys have to understand, hypergamy to women is not some logical, objective metric that they use to decide which guy they want. It's a feeling. It's an emotion. And I don't know what it feels like because I'm a fucking dude and I've never experienced it, but I can imagine it's pretty fucking strong considering it rules their decision making when it comes to their dating life. They are hypergamous and not in the way that you think. Sometimes you'll see a girl and say, why the fuck is she with this bum drug addict? Yeah, he's satisfying hypergamy better than the lawyer making 6 figures a year. I know that's crazy, but that's why she's with him and not with the other guy, even though both of them tried getting her. And you guys have to understand, to maintain a woman's attraction, you have to constantly keep satisfying hypergamy. This doesn't mean that you constantly have to be the best option objectively out of all the other guys. Like, this doesn't mean that you have to make more money than all her other options, or that you need to have a more chiseled jawline than all her other options. Whoopsie daisies, black pillars, kill me for that one. Or that you have to, you know, have more status than them. It just means that you have to make her feel, you have to make her emotions feel like you're her best option. And this is something that you actually do through your words, your actions, and how you frame yourself, how you behave in front of her. Right? The guy who's high value and who's a Chad and 6'4" and runs a 7-figure business, if he acts like a simp, he will not satisfy hypergamy despite his real tangible value. The guy who acts like he's more valuable and he's better than her will satisfy hypergamy even if he's an actual bum. So really, you want to be both, right? You want to be objective and subjective, but do not underestimate the subjective. Next up, we have women crave the men who don't want them most. Yeah. Again, brutal, and you have to accept this. Look, the best thing you can have if you want your crush is to not want her. I know it's pretty paradoxical, right? But she's my crush, and if I don't want her, she's no longer my crush. Sorry, bro, that's just how it fucking works. 90% of the people watching this video, I guarantee you're probably one of them. Do you ever notice that you seem to only attract, like you still attract the girls, I would hope, right? I would still hope you still attract the girls, but you seem to attract the girls who you don't necessarily want. You seem to attract the girls who you're like, man, you know what? Bro, she's a 5. I'm sorry, bro. She's just a 5 or a 6 at best. When was the last time you attracted a 10 in your eyes? Be honest. Be fucking honest right now. When was the last time you attracted a 10 in your eyes? Probably either never or once, right? Why? Because you wanted her. It's literally the truth, guys. Every girl that you want a lot, you're emotionally desperate for her, you will never get. Mark my words on this. You will never get her. And if you do, you will not have her for a long time. Women crave men who don't want them because women want what they can't have and they are perpetually seeking the guy they can't have. And you might say, well, okay, that's a pretty dumb theory. I can easily debunk it. Look outside. Look at how many people are in relationships. Okay, dude, you know what? Because you said that, I'm going to spill the truth bomb on you. Most girls don't love their boyfriends. Most girls don't actually want their boyfriends. Most girls who have boyfriends are thinking about other men. Shoot me for it. It's the fucking truth. I don't care what you think. And this doesn't mean that, you know, you can't have a healthy relationship and that you can't be with her for a long time. But the truth of the matter is a woman's highest point of arousal and attraction is for a guy that she doesn't have access to, for a guy who she wants but she can't get. Why do you think women simp over celebrities and actors and athletes? She wants him, but she knows she'll never get him in a million years. She wants the guy who rejected her, the guy who got away, but she knows she's never gonna get him. And that is what keeps them psychologically hooked on a guy. Now, how do we counter this? How do we have her but still satisfy the female side of her that wants what she can't have? The second best thing you can do is not need them, right? Because their highest point of arousal is going to be for the guy who doesn't want them. That's a fact. But you can't date them if you don't want them. But you can still date them if you don't need them, which means you be in a relationship with them, but you always give them the impression that you're able to walk away. You're not emotionally dependent on them leaving or on their actions, and you have your own life and you don't actually need her. Okay? Problem solved. Next up, they want to feel desired. So like I said before, they crave validation. A woman actually wants to feel wanted, which is why I don't care how much of a tall or good looking guy you are. If you don't actively pursue women to some degree and talk to them, you're going to be lonely just like most guys out there. Why? Because women want to feel chased and pursued initially. This is a really important point, and this isn't even that bad of a, this is actually really easy to accept. I think the inner simp in all of us is like, yes, they want to be desired, let's go, I can show them compliments and validate them. The truth is, a woman wants to feel chased, right? You're not going to get away with being this guy who never pursues and never chases and never initiates. I wish that was how it worked, but it really doesn't. However, there's a fine line here, because the more you chase and the more you make her feel desired, the more she loses attraction. So you want to do this initially, but then you want to reverse the dynamic. You want it to be where it's like you're chasing her 100%, she's chasing 0 in the beginning, and then it goes down to 50-50, and then it's like 100% her and like 20% you. That is the final goal. But again, a woman does want to feel desired and wanted, but again, it's kind of like the yin and yang, right? You have to make her feel desired and undesired simultaneously. Guys, female nature is complex. I know people are going to say, you're over-analyzing, dude. This guy's a maniac. This guy's a freak. I'm just telling you what I believe to be true wholeheartedly. And, it's your choice what you want to do with the information. Next up, your boundaries turn them off. Oh yeah. This is this is going to piss people the fuck off. Yo, check this out. Your boundaries, when we talk about a guy setting boundaries, what do most people think? Yes, this makes me masculine because I told her that she can't have guy friends and I'm the authority. And men want to feel like they're being men, right? We want to set boundaries because it's like, yeah, dude, I'm the masculine guy to do. And there was some guy who commented like, dude, you telling people not to set boundaries is feminine, and a man's purpose should be to have kids and have a wife, so he should set boundaries. Bro, first of all, don't tell me what a man's purpose should be. Like, just because your purpose is to have a wife and kids doesn't mean that's everyone else's. Everyone's entitled to their own purpose. And yes, even though I want a wife and kids at some point, having that as your purpose is the gayest thing you could possibly do. Like, it's not even that hard of a purpose to it. Everyone gets married, bro. Your parents are married, my parents. Like, is it really that much of an achievement to get married? But we're gonna get into that later, don't worry. We're getting into that. Anyways, the reason you don't want to set boundaries with a woman is because, first of all, a woman doesn't want to feel like you're controlling her interest in you. When you set boundaries, it signals, I don't think that I can sustain you and your attraction, so I have to put restrictions on you to make you like me more. Really, this is why women perceive boundaries as insecure. This is why you always hear, yeah, the guy's insecure for not letting me have guy friends or go on Vegas trips. They actually believe it's insecure. And you might say, well, okay, what if I find a woman who accepts my boundaries? Yeah, sure, she might silently accept it if it's normalized in her culture, but it doesn't mean she actually appreciates you setting boundaries. She might just hide it and live with it. But what I'm trying to get at here is, women don't like men who set boundaries because, one, she feels like you're trying to control her interest in you, right? And two, it signals that you care too much about her, because the guys who are trying to set boundaries, let's be real, bro, the guys who are trying to verbalize their boundaries are doing it out of scarcity and because they have no other options. Players and chads don't fucking set boundaries. They just don't care, bro. They literally, like, part of not caring is not trying to make someone else do something for you. You might perceive it as masculine, but she actually gets the ick from it. But let's say you do have boundaries. How do you enforce them without verbally expressing your boundaries? It's so easy. Just walk away if she's not the type of girl who naturally meets your boundaries, because you're not going to make a woman change. If she's the type of girl to go to the club and party and talk to a bunch of guys, you're not going to make her a home wife just because you verbalized your boundaries. In fact, the more you verbalize your boundaries, watch her purposely go out of her way to try breaking them. Guys, I learned this the hard way when there was a girl I was talking to and she actually had some really high interest in me, and I was just like, at the time I thought, okay, maybe I should take the masculine approach and like set boundaries and tell her do this and don't do that. She literally just got turned off and started pulling away harder than any other girl I've talked to. And then I realized, oh shit, it's because I tried making her do a bunch of stuff and she felt like it was too much and she pulled away. And okay, you might say, well, in a marriage you should set boundaries. Fine, dude, I don't fucking know. I'm sorry if you're 30 years old. Figure it out from an older guy. I'm 21. All I'm saying is, girls my age and girls a little bit older than me, they don't like this whole serious masculine husband boundary type shit. They just don't. Find your fucking high quality women in Afghanistan. I don't care. Most of them are not like this. Let's move on. Your desire for exclusivity turns them off. Yeah, this is another one you really must accept. See, most guys who watch my videos really want a relationship and they really want some sort of exclusivity with a girl. So you might be in a situation where you're talking to a girl now, but you guys aren't official and you guys aren't dating and you want to sort of make it official. The question I have for you is why? Why are you so obsessed with a label boyfriend? Like why can't you just chill while talking to her without trying to make anything of it? You realize that that is how the feminine operates. Her end goal should be to capture the relationship. It is not within your nature to seek exclusivity and commitment from a woman. It's actually her who should be thinking, how do I lock this guy down? He's so high value. He has so many options. He might slip away from my fingers if I don't. How do I get him? You thinking, how do I get her and make her my girlfriend is a completely wrong way to think. In fact, you should be thinking, how do I make it so that we keep casually talking without being her girlfriend? And I know for a fact people are going to say, this is the most degenerate thing ever, man. A relationship is healthy. Relationships are better than casual. Okay, bro, do whatever you want. But I'm saying when you express the desire for intimacy and one-to-one connection, it signals that you have no other options and you want her badly because you're down bad. Because think about it, really think about it, dude. Put your ego to the side, put your moral high ground to the side. Is the guy who's pre-selected and has a ton of hot girls who want him gonna be that quick to want to commit to someone? Ask yourself that. There's a reason why high-value men like presidents and athletes and actors are always involved in sex scandals and cheating, is because let's be real. I'm not saying this is correct. I'm saying you should control your lust. But when you have that many options, you're tempted to be polygamous and to want to explore that and kind of, fuck around a little bit. So when you want a girlfriend, it shows that you have no other options and she's your only source of puss. That's really what it shows. Being a little bit hesitant to commit actually makes them want you that much more, and it makes them want to chase you and the relationship that much more. Now, am I saying that if you ask a girl out, she's 100% guaranteed to say no? Absolutely not, right? That would be delusional of me to think. I have a lot of friends who asked their girlfriends out and they're still dating now, no problem. But I'm saying that for a lot of women, it does actually turn them off, and you wanting to be exclusive reveals that you don't have many options. Next up, spending too much time with her will emasculate you. Not only will it emasculate you, but it will also turn her off. The more time you spend in Netflix and chilling with a woman and looking at the stars with her, you might think that that's okay and that's nice, but really, guys, women just have a superpower of emasculating a guy, putting him in his feminine, making him like her. Because think about it, bro. Her energy, the female energy, passive, likes to chill, doesn't do much. The masculine is always grinding and trying to improve. The more time you spend with her, the more like her you become, and the more like you she becomes, right? So you guys are kind of depolarizing each other, and it is going to emasculate you. It is going to make you weaker. It's going to make you less ambitious, and you're not going to be as ruthless when you're achieving your goals as the guy who either doesn't have a girlfriend or has one but knows how to limit his time with her to quality time, right? Quality time spent is better than quantity time spent. Always remember that shit. This is why you see in a lot of couples, the boyfriends or the husbands almost seem like their passion and zest for life is just gone. Like she's turned them into the shell of their former self. I've seen this happen to so many good relationships. The man could have actually achieved so much in his life if he just kept going and he kept grinding, but he fell into the emasculation trap. And it's a really big time waster, because when you're spending time with her, yeah, it's nice and it's laughs and it's fun, but really if you do it too much, it's a waste of time, guys. Always remember that spending too much time with her will ruin you. It's a bitter pill to swallow. A lot of guys don't want to accept this because either they spend too much time with their girlfriends or their ego and pride is preventing them from admitting that, yeah, this is actually not a good thing. Next up, we have being the boyfriend or husband is not always a W. Yeah, this is a very bitter pill to swallow. This kind of blends well into the previous point. When you're her boyfriend or husband, chances are you're going to live with her, or even if you're not, you're going to spend a lot of time with her. And this is again going to emasculate you. You're going to notice yourself getting weaker and getting more emotional and falling into her BS. Now your life is full of chaos and turmoil that she created, and you really are just a shell of your former self. And remember, guys, women classify men. They always categorize men. If you are in a woman's life, you're classified into 3 categories. Number 1 is friend zone. Number 2 is boyfriend slash husband. And number 3 is the player that she has high sexual arousal for, but she's not actually going to date because he's probably going to cheat on her. Now, you might think, of course, I want to be the boyfriend or the husband. The truth is, after a long period of time spent with her as the boyfriend or the husband, you become more like a best friend and less like a lover, right? The sexual polarity dies down very quickly when you give off boyfriend energy. Boyfriend energy is like the friend-zoned guy who she's attracted enough to actually see long-term potential in. That's really what it is. mark my word, by being a player and by acting like a masculine red pill guy, you're actually gonna have a very hard time getting a girlfriend. It's not that easy to get a girlfriend if you're like an alpha red pill guy, because women are not looking for that in a boyfriend. They're looking for, lack of a better term, a beta kind of guy, a guy who has that friend zone energy, the guy who she can tame, right? And a guy who she can manipulate a little bit. So my honest advice to you guys, if you're looking for a girlfriend or a wife, have a bit of blue pill in you, okay? You're gonna have to make compromises. You're going to have to be a little bit soft on some cases. You can't be like this plate spinning red pill Chad alpha. Those are the guys that women are very attracted to and sleep with, but they're not the guys that women look for long-term commitment from. And of course, everything has its downsides, right? Like that guy's not gonna get commitment. The boyfriend is gonna get commitment, but again, the high arousal guy comes along. I'm not saying they all do this, but some of them cheat, some of them fantasize about him, text him behind her boyfriend's back, and with enough time, the boyfriend or the husband becomes beta-tized and becomes reduced into like this yes babe that we talked about earlier. So it is what it is. If you want to have a girlfriend and you don't want to fall into this trap, always remember to keep your distance sometimes. Be masculine, be on your purpose. Like you have to have a life outside of her, guys. A lot of husbands and boyfriends, they do not have a life outside of their woman. Their hobbies are shared. Everything they do is together. Everything he does is he's always thinking about her. Go and skateboard, go and play a video game, go hang out with your guy friends. Like anything to just create some distance, create some mystery, and restore the polarity of you guys being lovers. Because trust me, man, boyfriend or husband is not always the flex people think it is. With some chicks, the side guy is actually getting more out of her than the boyfriend ever could, as sad as that is. Next up, women are always testing. You know what? I'm actually going to move this down here and I'm going to put this here. That kind of makes sense. So you have to understand that a woman is always testing because she is simply hardwired to always test, okay? Her interest for you guys is never fixed. A lot of guys think because I unlocked her being my girlfriend, because I unlocked her being my wife, it's over. I can do whatever I want. There's no more tests. I'm chilling. It's always a test till the second you guys break up, or if you guys are married for a lifetime, till the second she dies. She's always testing because she constantly wants to update her perception of you. Her brain is saying, okay, he was this before. Let me make sure he's still that. Okay, a month goes by. Let me make sure he's still that. And then when there's a chink in your armor, her confidence in you as a man starts to go down. So they're always testing. They're always trying to make sure that you are who you say you are and that your identity is congruent. And they really do it just to make sure that your masculine strength is still there. The more I learn about women, the more I realize that they are just a big test for all the men in the world. Men go through a lot of challenges in their day-to-day lives. We're always tested in life in general, in business, in sports. Women are an extension of that. Every man is going to have to pick up their sword and pick up their shield and sort of fight through and grit their way through all of the testing that life has to offer, and women are no exception to that. Next up, no one is exempt from female nature. This is a huge one, top of the list. Listen, dude. This is something everybody falls into. Everyone makes this mistake. Black pillars, no, Chad is exempt from female nature. Chad doesn't have to go through all this. Red pillars, no, Drake doesn't have to go through all this. Drake is exempt. Dude, no one is exempt from the psychological hardwiring of the female subconscious mind. No one is exempt. If Tom Brady got fucking cheated on, if Robert Pattinson got cheated on, what the fuck makes you think you're exempt? Guys have this mindset, okay, when I make enough money, when I look this way, when I achieve this, then I can finally chill and be a simp to women and just be myself. The truth is, it never fucking works that way. If you act in the ways that turn her off and you do the things that I discussed before that a woman is repelled by, it doesn't matter who you are. It's only a matter of time before she starts looking for the exit. Everyone has to follow the rules. No one is exempt from it. Some people subconsciously follow the rules, like the guys who are really good with women who probably haven't seen anything related to red pill in their lives. They're just good with women because they subconsciously do the right things. Like if you observe them, you'll see that they naturally do the right things. They naturally ignore her. They naturally don't give her that much attention. And the guys who are doing the wrong things and are with women, right? So they have girlfriends or wives. You may be tempted to look at these guys and say, okay, but look, see, he's exempt. He's being himself. Yeah, but you realize there's no guarantee that she's not cheating. There's no guarantee that she's actually attracted to him. Some women just tolerate men. You guys have to understand. Some women just have a high tolerance for your mistakes, but it doesn't mean that they are accepting of it. They just can't find a better option at the time, or they have too much to lose by divorcing or breaking up with you, so they stay and they tolerate it. But it doesn't mean it's what they actually want. Next up, women always have an option lined up. This is brutal because even when they're in relationships, you're not the only guy she's talking to most of the time, right? If she's Muslim, she lives in the Middle East, you might be. But most of the time, guys, especially if she grew up having guy friends, it's normal for her to hang out with guys. You're never the only guy she's talking to. And I want you to understand, all the guys she's talking to, they're backup option. If you're her boyfriend or if you're the guy she's sleeping with, you may be her best option, but best does not equal only, right? Of course, she's going to give these guys the friend zone treatment. She's not going to let them hit, but just keep in mind her subconscious perceives them as backup options. And here's a brutal truth for you. God damn, bro, I'm losing my fucking voice. When a woman decides she wants to break up with a guy, she will not instantly break up with him. What she will do is she will find a guy who she's ready to jump onto next, right? She's going to monkey branch to the next guy. She's going to line him up while she's still in the relationship with the guy who she's been plotting to break up with. And then she will break up with him and go right into that next relationship. Most women do not want to go through that phase where they're single after a breakup, the part where they're like single. Usually when that happens, it's the guy who broke up with her. When she breaks up with a guy, it's all calculated. She already has another option, and if he's not going to be her boyfriend, she has someone lined up who she's going to be sleeping with. Next up, some women use religion as a tool. So you guys have to remember, a woman understands men, and that's why they're so good at manipulating. They understand exactly what you look for and what you fall for. And guys who are kind of in the state of like, I just want a high quality woman who loves me, they're the easiest to manipulate and fool, because all she has to do is present herself as religious. Now her value is overinflated in your eyes. If she's like, yeah, I'm a woman of God and blah blah blah, most of them don't actually read the Bible. Most of them are not women of God. They're only of God when it suits a worldly purpose, which is getting married or finding the highest value guy who actually isn't even that high value because he's a sucker and he doesn't know what's going on. But they will use religion as a tool to artificially inflate their value and their purity and their innocence and their high qualityness in your eyes, so you take them more seriously and so you want to marry them. And again, I have to remind you, I'm only talking about chicks my age and a little bit like around my age range, 18 to 25. I'm sure when they get older, they actually become religious, because of course mothers and grandmothers and stuff are religious. I'm just talking about the women that you're going to experience when you go out in the dating field and the women who you're actually going to interact with. Some women use religion as a tool. They're not actually religious, okay? That's why they have a Tinder account and they're dressed promiscuously on Tinder, but when you look at their bio, it has Proverbs like 23:46 or some shit. Next up, women are always manipulating. Yeah, so I'm not gonna spend too long on this, but we talked about the psychological manipulation. We didn't even talk about the physical manipulation. When you look at a woman, you do realize what you're seeing is what she wants you to see. It's an artificially crafted image of her and not the real her. You never see the real woman. When you look at her, you don't see through the makeup, you don't see through the eyeliner, you don't see through the nails, you don't see through all the work that she did to make herself look good. They're always manipulating you. They're always manipulating the male gaze into desiring them. And this isn't something necessarily bad. It's obviously in their best interest to do it so they can secure the best possible mate, but you have to understand that everything they do is based on deception, even from the outside. So you would be an idiot to think that if they're deceiving on the outside, they wouldn't also do it on the inside. Really hard one for people to accept, but I can only deliver the info. I can't force you to internalize it. Next up, your words matter, but your emotional state matters more. This is something that I wasn't able to put into words, and a lot of you may agree with me, but now I understand why. You see, what you say to a woman, while it does matter to an extent, what matters more is how you feel while you say stuff. Two guys could say the exact same thing, and she will perceive one of them to be like a weak beta simp and the other one to be like a cool, calm and collected, nonchalant guy. Why? Because it's the emotional state when you say something. If you have this like aura and emotional energy of like desperation and that you want an outcome and that you need her, you will never ever come off the right way. Like, I could go to a girl and break all the rules that I talk about on this channel. I could go to a girl and be like, you're the most beautiful chick I've ever met, I love you, I want to marry you. And if my emotional state was correct while saying that, she would actually perceive it as charming. Women are sniffers of emotion. They can instantly tell what you're feeling and whether you're detached or whether you're attached to an outcome. So if you say something in a detached manner and you genuinely don't give a fuck, okay, even if it may sound simpy to all the other guys, she doesn't perceive it that way. Next up, conformity turns her off. I'm gonna put this at kinda stings, but whatever. It's still true. Women are highly attracted to the outlaw, the guy who doesn't really follow rules, because it indicates that he's at the top of the hierarchy. And from an evolutionary perspective, the guy who's at the top is the guy who has the most resources in the tribe and who is able to best lead the tribe. And due to hypergamy, women are always looking up. So when you're a conformist and you're on some doing what everyone else is doing and following the trend and following everyone, you don't stand out to women. The guy who does and says whatever the fuck he wants is always the most attractive to them. Similarly, caring what she thinks turns her off, because you really shouldn't give a fuck what she thinks. Her perception of you should not matter to yourself. If she likes you, she likes you. If she doesn't, you will find another one who does, right? Abundance mindset. Lastly, they are hardwired to bring chaos and turmoil. Like I said before, a woman will rarely ever bring peace and stability into your life, which is something that men crave the most. They will challenge you, they will bring chaos, they will bring turmoil. It is your duty as a masculine man to dance with her waves of chaotic feminine emotion, and you are the stable rock that is able to sort of take it all in. That is why women are attracted to masculine men, because they themselves are turbulent and there's so much turmoil in their lives, and when they see a guy who is grounded and at peace, they feel nothing but safety and love and admiration for him. So I'm gonna put this at easy AF to accept. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This was a freaking long one. I will see you in the next video. Peace out.